Alex Laverson, and with me is James No Doubt Dotson. We are going to be recapping the great Super Bowl from last night. James, what's up?
Not too much. Got off great Super Bowl. New York Giants are champs again. First time there's been a champion with less than 10 regular season wins in the current 16-game era. And kudos to Tom Coughlin, to MVP Eli Manning, and the entire staff up in New York. Great year, great performance last night.
Yep, absolutely. And I really like the way Eli Manning is coming along. He's won 2 Super Bowls. He beat Brady twice in the Super Bowl, and he has one more Super Bowl than his older brother Peyton. What does this victory, at least in your eyes, do for his legacy?
His legacy is that of a 2-time Super Bowl champion. He is deservingly now to be an elite quarterback. And for me to say that is really impressive because, as you very well know, I have never been a big Eli Manning fan. And you know what? I still am not. Because even to me, if you take out this year he had his best year by far start to finish. But even in it, he still has games where he comes and all of a sudden does absolutely nothing right. And where he'll play a game and everything will go completely wrong for him. He had 2 playoff runs, which led to 2 Super Bowl championships. But beyond that, his performance in big games really hasn't been that great. So, you know, I'd like to see this consistent play that he had this year stay in subsequent years, but even if it doesn't, Eli Manning still is and should be deservingly called an elite quarterback.
Absolutely. I mean, even though I would not say Eli is a better quarterback than Brady or Manning, he still has 2 Super Bowls, one more than Peyton, and he's outdueled, like I said, Brady twice. And it is a team game. It's not just Eli, but he played great. I mean, talk about Mr. Fourth Quarter there. And, you know, you got to tip your cap to the Giants. I mean, from what they were, they are 7-7 at one time, and they haven't lost a game. And they've just been hot. It goes to show that you don't have to be a top seed to win in the Super Bowl. It's all about what have you done for me lately. This is the kind of league that the NFL is. And that's why the Giants, even though they were technically favored to lose, if you like to say it like that, it seemed like most people were picking the G-men. And for a while there, it looked like at the beginning they should have been favorited. And then as the game went on, you know, the Patriots were kind of getting momentum, and, you know, it was all of a sudden it was 10-9, 17-9. And ever since Brady got hit by Tuck, he just wasn't the same. And Brady didn't cost the Patriots the game. And, you know, you see all these Twitter statuses and Facebook posts saying, oh, Brady's a choke artist, this and that and this again. Yes, he did not win the Super Bowl, and Eli played better than him, but Brady did not lose the game for the New England Patriots.
No, he definitely did not. I mean, the only play that you can even remotely try to say was a complete mistake on his part was the lone turnover of the game, that interception which he threw 50 yards down the field that he underthrew Gronkowski by about 5 yards, so it ended up being picked off. And you know what? It ended up like a punt anyway. I believe it was 2nd and long at the time. It ended up like a punt that they pinned him down at the 5-yard line anyway. That's not a bad turnover by any stretch of the imagination.
Well, he's also getting a lot of heat for the intentional grounding call at the beginning of the game. And so a lot of people are treating it as if it was 2 turnovers. And, of course, you know, it led to a safety. But, I mean, he almost had 300 yards passing. He had 2 touchdowns, but Manning had a better game than him. But what would you say?
Even the intentional grounding, real quick, that could be as much on the wide receiver as it is on him. You're throwing it down the field. You thought your receiver was going to head up the field. For whatever reason, there was miscommunication. And you know what? If he's not being pressured and that happens, that's not intentional grounding. But just because there was a guy within a couple yards of hitting him, that's where the grounding foul comes in. So it made it for hopefully there are a few people out there who took the 100-to-1 odds to say that the safety would be the first goal, the first scoring of the game. But if so, can I get a share of that money, please?
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, here's the thing I want to ask you. Did the Patriots lose the game, or did the Giants win?
Oh, the Giants won it. There's no doubt in my mind. The Giants won this game. They did everything right. They didn't turn the ball over, and it's not like their opposition turned it over 10 times. There was one turnover in the game that really didn't have much effect in terms of how the game played out. The way the game played out was down the stretch, 4 minutes left, Eli Manning with the ball, and he's done what he's done all year. He did what he had done in the previous Super Bowl between these two teams. He drove his team down the field, and he scored a touchdown. And you know what, just speaking of that touchdown real quick, kind of almost thankful that the Patriots didn't end up scoring down there at the end, because how badly would you feel for Ahmad Bradshaw, who tried to stop himself before getting into the end zone?
Oh, hey, man, at least he tried. I mean, I've been hearing on the radio people telling me today that, why would he even attempt that? That's too risky, blah, blah, blah. I don't think it's a bad strategy at all. I mean, you never want to give Brady time left to lead his team down the field. I mean, he does it all the time, or at least he did. And the thing is, though, the Patriots, as great as they have been over the last 2 years, it seems as though they just can't get over this hump. Ever since they got caught for Spygate and things like that, and you even yourself said that this team really hasn't beat anyone tough all season. They beat the Broncos, was it twice?
They beat the Broncos twice with a winning record, and technically with the Broncos playoff games, they finished at 9-9. So even that I can barely consider as a winning record. They had winning records at the time, whatever. The only other team that they beat all year that had a winning record was Baltimore, who blew the game twice for them with a drop in the end zone and a shank 37-yard field goal. So even that, in a game that they probably should have lost, Tom Brady threw 2 interceptions, had no offensive stats whatsoever. I'm not surprised that the Patriots didn't win this game. And with combining that the Patriots had not beaten or even come close to beating any team that had a winning record this year, beyond that is the fact that, yes, the Giants have been hot. They won now, I think, 7 in a row to end the year, and they did the same thing back for Super Bowl 42. They got hot at the right time. Their coach is on the hot seat, and that's when their team apparently plays best. So hopefully,
he should be under fire every year.
No, he really should be. And you know what? I'm still not convinced he's a great coach. He comes to play only when all of a sudden he becomes a good coach when he's under fire. And I don't get how that can happen, but it does.
He seems like one of those coaches you're really gonna have to wait till it's all said and done to judge his career. I mean, bottom line, he has 2 Super Bowls. He beat the mighty, quote, New England Patriots twice in the Super Bowl. But here's something I want to address too. For as great as the New England Patriots are, and since they're the model franchise in the NFL, they have not won a Super Bowl since 2004. And I'm not here to say, it's because of Spygate, they were cheating, all of this. But, I mean, if they ever want to get rid of that stigma, I mean, they better win a Super Bowl. I mean, it's been eight years now. And everywhere you go, you turn on the radio, go on the Internet, they can't win because of Spygate, this and that. I don't know. I don't know how much advantage they had. I don't know. I don't think anyone will ever really know. But you can't just help but think how much Brady and Belichick, they could have helped their legacy by winning this game. And until they get over the hump and finally win that Super Bowl, can't believe we're saying finally for the New England Patriots, that stigma is always going to be around, either justifiably so or unjustifiably so.
No, I agree. And whether you believe in that ideal or not, with the Spygate being the reason that they had won the Super Bowls and why they aren't winning it now, whether you believe in that or not, it still doesn't matter. That sort of enigma is going to hang over you, not to mention everything else in terms of when Belichick loses all of his assistant coaches after those first 3 Super Bowls. Why can't we do anything since because of that either? It doesn't matter. You have such great teams that should be making Super Bowl run after Super Bowl run. You've made it there twice, and you've lost there twice. What do you do now?
Exactly. I mean, it's crazy enough. You hear on ESPN radio all these things that some people are even thinking Belichick might retire here in a few years or so. And if he doesn't win the Super Bowl, I actually think he has more of a chance in wanting to come back and stay. I don't think he wants to go out without winning one more Super Bowl. But
he said it himself. He wants his legacy to be as a winner. He always is. That's what he wants most in the game. That's what he wants to be remembered as, is for winning. And right now, his Super Bowl record as a head coach is 3-2. I mean, that speaks numbers, and hopefully, for his sake, he might get another chance, and he can make it to another Super Bowl run and actually win it this time. Just for his sake, hopefully he doesn't have to play the Giants in the big game, because that apparently doesn't work well.
Exactly. But
let me ask you this: how big of a factor do you think the injury of Rob Gronkowski was?
Well, here's the thing. It definitely played a factor, but at the same time, it doesn't matter only because the Giants were getting beat up all season, and especially in this game. So it's one of those things, like, you never really know how much of a difference would have made. But if if Gronk was fully healthy, I still think they probably would have won, but I'm not going to say I know they would have won. It's just kind of my hunch. It doesn't matter now. So both teams had injuries.
It doesn't. It happens, and just to put some fuel to your fire, because I know you mentioned it after the game had ended. You almost would have thought that a man with the number 84 on his jersey could have come down with that catch in the end zone to end the game. Instead, you have a one-legged Gronkowski trying to keep up with the play and trying to catch a tip ball. Makes it definitely more difficult, but you got to admire the man's effort at very least.
I do, and you can't help but wonder. Maybe the other 81 would have caught that ball, and I know Randy's long gone, but what I'm trying to say is the Patriots in general don't have a deep threat. They brought Chad Ochocinco in. Maybe they thought he could provide that here and there. That hasn't worked out. I mean, I think they just can't not complete a pass over 20 yards, but their offense is efficient, getting the 10, 15 yards. It works, but it can only take you so far. I mean, you got to be able to go deep downfield eventually. So they need to get a deep threat. I don't know who, but ever since they haven't had that since Moss was there. And even when he was there, they didn't win. So I don't know what to do if I'm the New England Patriots. So, but
it makes it difficult, and you mentioned the injury bug again. I just want to make it mention that when the Giants beat the Patriots in the regular season this year, they were without Ahmad Bradshaw. They were without Hank Hanoski. They were without Hakeem Nicks. 3 guys they get back, and they still are in a tight game to the end, a way that we love to see our Super Bowls played.
And I'll tell you what, I think it's safe to say, I think the consensus is the best team won the Super Bowl, and the best team in the NFL, at least for the last few weeks, at this point in time, won the Super Bowl. So you got to tip your hat to the New York Football Giants. But before we end this, probably the one important thing we're forgetting about the Super Bowl, the one thing we cannot forget, what did you think of that halftime show?
You have to end it with the halftime show. I thought it was a great show. I thought it was a terrible singing performance because it was not sung live, and that was pretty obvious.
I'm not.
The dancing, the choreography, the light show, that was all impressive, but the vocals, no thanks.
Yeah, well, what are you going to do? I mean, I wasn't impressed by it. I don't think many people were, but it is what it is. But it seems like the Super Bowl really hasn't had that great of a halftime show in a while.
We could debate that forever.
I know.
All right, one final thing before we sign off. We need a prediction. Super Bowl 47. Who's it going to be?
Oh, jeez. Oh, put me on the spot here, Dotson. But I wouldn't be surprised if New England makes it back in. I really wouldn't. But, oh, jeez. You know what? I think next year is going to be the Ravens' year. I just have a gut. I think it's going to be the Ravens versus... And I'm probably going to change this, but at this point in time you're asking me. I'm going to go with the Ravens and the Packers.
Not a bad choice. I'm thinking I loved what he did in 1 year, so I got to go with Harbaugh. I got to say the 49ers, and what the heck, 49ers versus the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Oh man! So either battle for the 7 for the Steelers, or being able to tie it up with 6 for the Niners.
It'll be a great matchup, and if either of those matchups happen, we'll be in for a great show.
All right, well, that just about does it. James Dawson, Alex Laverson signing off from 360 Sports Network. You can reach us on Twitter at 3S Network. Send us a tweet. Let us know what you think. We'll be reporting from the Crane Room Bar and Grill later this week, presumably on Wednesday. Keep back checking our website for postings at www.360sportsnetwork.com. Have a good one, everybody.